Hey guys, Jesh TV here. So if you just want to skip right to the review and not hear me ramble for this first little bit, there's going to be a timestamp here in a few seconds. So just click that, it'll get right to the review. However, this first little bit, I'd like to talk about just why I love this game so much and how much it means to me. And it sort of explains all my nostalgia biases and all that good stuff. So if you want to hear that, stick around. If not, here's a timestamp. Enjoy the review. Picture this. It's 2005. You're in first grade. It's one of your last days of school and you get to go to the computer lab. You have this friend. Let's call him Mikey. Hey, Jesh, check this out. My brother showed me how to bypass the school Wi-Fi. You see, Mike's brother was a bit of a tech whiz. And thanks to him, Mike can now show you a trailer that he's been yammering on about how you would want to hear about. He loads up YouTube. You start the trailer by seeing a fuzzy orange man. You can't quite tell what he's saying because it's 2005 and, frankly, the computer lab doesn't have headphones. However, what you do see is you see Dexter. Then it pans up and you see Jack. They have a little banter. You can't quite tell what it is because no headsets. But then you see those fabled words. Jack 3. For the next 3 months, I was mesmerized. I couldn't wait to check out that game. However, I did eventually get it for my birthday, and because I didn't think it was as good as Jack 2, eventually I set the game down, and several years passed until the summer of my 6th grade year. You see, the summer of my 6th grade year, I had to go live in my brother's room again. And because we were bored and had almost nothing to do because we didn't have internet, one night he decided to bring the PlayStation 2 upstairs and he had Jack 3. He had recently been working on a save for it as well. Now, keep in mind, I haven't seen the PS2 for like 4 years because I had a bit of a fallout with gaming a few years ago, and I am not really a gamer at this point. But that night, I got to see how fun Jack 3 actually was. And thanks to this, it sort of re-sparked my love for gaming, and I was determined to beat this game. According to me, the way I saw it was, he had to go to practice, followed by work, and he wouldn't be home till late night. So basically, I had 10 hours to do whatever I wanted to catch up on this game. And maybe, possibly, if I tried hard enough, to beat him. Now, that entire summer, I pretty much spent playing Jack 3, trying to beat it. And eventually I did. But that's just why this means so much to me, is it was the first time I was ever like, I have to beat a game. So, in the meantime, thank you for coming to my TED Talk, and on to the review.
Wait. Prove yourselves worthy, or the desert will be your grave.
Tell us both. Rule of the arena. Sorry, nothing personal.
Enough! We will stop the cleansing of the world with your demise. Behold, I now command the very power of the Ancient One!
Oh yeah! The boys are back in town!
Let's go topside and see what kind of trouble we can get into. That guy always was one long short of a choir. We have bigger problems now.
Great work, Jack. Let me be the first to officially apologize for the city.
Forget about it. I've got my own interest in this.
Given the opportunity to wield a power the leprechauns cannot control. Don't fret. You won't live to see what I turn this little world into. Maybe a rock, or a floating puddle of slag, or nothing at all. Complete oblivion! So hard to choose.
So Jack 3 was released November 9th, 2004 from the developer Naughty Dog. It's a third-person action platformer, so it's very similar to Jack 2 in a lot of ways. This is because, from what I think happened, PlayStation was like, yo, we want another Jack and Dexter game and you have only a year to do it. So naturally, a lot of stuff got imported through this game, and that is why it is so much like Jack 2, but with sand. However, I'm going to be focusing on certain gameplay changes made in this game, like the extra guns, the Dark Jack and Light Jack powers, and all that good stuff, and that's primarily what I'm going to be focusing on in this review, because everything from Jak 2 is pretty much a direct port. If there is a change, I will talk about it. But with that out of the way, let's get to gameplay. What better way to start talking about gameplay than to start with the level design? More specifically though, what you'll be doing for most of the game and just how you'll be getting around. You'll be going back and forth from task to task. Normally, missions aren't too very long, and they are pretty linear. However, mission areas are really varied. Like, you could have a mission in the desert, and then a mission in a flying robot factory. One of my personal favorite missions goes something like this. After having the best car handed to you, you find a little icon on your map. Upon reaching the icon, you find that it's an abandoned temple. After some basic platforming and jumps, you find the hang glider. Then you go into a volcano thanks to the hang glider segment, which now you need to find a way out. After some basic puzzle solving and a few Daxter levels, you find the power of invisibility. So basically, you find an average Saturday for Sol and myself. The rest of the mission sort of guides you to this weird, like, precursor statue thing to get your light jack powers. And then you're thrown out of the mission and told, okay, get back to whatever you were doing before you started the mission. And basically, this is like 3 missions thrown together in one, so it's like one of the longer ones. However, it's one of my personal favorites. In the last game, you needed a full charge to use Dark Jack. Now you can use your Dark Jack powers whenever. However, the Dark Bomb is still probably the most useful attack you'll get. On the other hand, you have your Light powers, which are more defensive rather than Dark Jack's offense. To access your Light Jack powers, you actually have to do a Light Jack move, similar to healing or flying. Another option for combat is guns. These are great ranged weapons and sort of take place of your eco again. Now there are 3 types of each gun. The second type is normally the most useful for all the guns, except for in the case of the Vulcan barrel. Now your guns also range from the awesome idea but terrible execution to the okay, so you just turned every room you were in into a living death trap, and it is very inconsistent with how they give out these upgrades. Such as one gun you get in the very late game essentially just gives you the power to create zero gravity, and it's not really useful because you already have the beam reflector, which bounces off a shot from a wall to wall to wall. So having something suspended in the air is kind of useless when you already have the beam reflector. So at some point in the post-game, you will notice that there are little sections where you can actually, like, take a look at the character models in this special thing called a Jak and Daxter model viewer. They have ones for Jak 1, 2, and 3, and some of the voice actors even reprise their roles and come back to, like, do a little blooper thing, and it's actually rather funny when it happens. One of my favorite designs, though, has to be Count Veigar. He incorporates designs of Jak 2 and Jak 1, and it personally, in my opinion, looks really, really nice. And the game, speaking of extras, the game also has a hero mode, which is effectively this game, but on hard mode. And that's really all I can say. Other than that, the game is packed with a lot of post-game extras, like Dark Jack powers, Ratchet & Clank gun course, a scrapbook to look at all the awesome concept art of these characters, and frankly, as far as post-game content goes, for me at least, that is awesome. Now, I'm not actually going to go into that much detail about the story mode, as I feel like if you want to play through the story by now you would have looked up a Let's Play or played through it yourself, because it's available on the PS3, PS2, and PS4 now. However, I am going to give, like, the setup to the story, my personal opinions on characters, situations, and all that good stuff for the very end, because I really just did it last time because it seemed like a thing most reviewers do. I don't know. So the basic setup for the story is Jack has been banished from Haven City because the people believe that his friendship with Krupp helped the metalheads get into the city. Now, as we all know, this isn't true. However, the city believes it, and thus they banish Jack. Jack now has to find his way in the wasteland, and along the way meet a colorful cast of characters. And eventually, Jack does get back into Haven City, but that gets into a bit of spoiler territory, and that is about as far as I'm going to take the actual story overview. My personal thoughts on the story, while not as great as Jack 2, it's a lot grander in scale. I just kind of wish that the game would stick to one gameplay style, because it's best, as Vale said it in his review for this game, it is best when it's just you and a set of platforms and shooting. That is what this game does well, and it doesn't really do the minigames all too great, but it does do them quite a bit, and it really makes this game hard to get the feel of. Personally, I like most of the changes made to the characters. I like how a lot of the characters retain their design. However, I wish some characters would have their design changed. One character's design I would like to see changed is maybe Torn, because his character designs fit well in Jack 2, but doesn't really fit the tone in this game. However, that is about the only design I really have a problem with. Maybe Samos, he still looks a little too much like the original, but they did change Kira's design. I do not like the changes they made to her character, however, considering that she only has like 3 lines of dialogue in this game, just kind of congratulating Jack back to Haven City. So, there's that. As far as do I think you need to play this game, yes, I would play it, and I would at least give it a good go for completion because of how much just post-game content there is if you go for the 100%. But really, that is all the story review I think I need to give, because it's really good. If you're a Jack and Daxter fan, play it. If you haven't played the other games, I do think you could still play this and get into its story. However, if you haven't, I would recommend at least going back and playing Jack 2. But that is about as far as my review of the story can go without getting into spoilers, so I'm just gonna cut it here. Hey guys, Future Josh here, just gonna give you all an update on the channel and just the ending to that story, because I didn't exactly finish it because I wanted to get right into the review. So I'm gonna start with the story. So as far as I know, my brother never finished the game, and I did eventually beat him, but that is effectively how that story ends. There is no, like, grandiose tale. I still don't think he's beat it to this date. However, as far as updates are concerned, I'm gonna be starting college soon, so the videos are gonna slow down, like, a lot, and probably just stop altogether for quite some time, so bear with me in that. However, I think I'm going to take at least one more game on before I go with Jack 2 and possibly Jack X. Something I want to start mentioning in my reviews is the game OSTs, but I didn't mention in this review, considering that I did play through most of the game on silent whilst talking to Soul over the Discord. But the reason that is I really didn't have a lot of time between, work and actual gaming, so yeah, there's that. But that is all I really wanted to update you guys on, and I'll see you all in the next review. Also, one more thing before I go, I swear, this is the last thing, but you might have noticed this little avatar I'm using. He is probably going to be in every video from here on out, because I really like the work Soul did here. He is a great artist. If you haven't checked out Soul Anima, definitely go check it out. But yeah, that's really all, so don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, and just share this video around with all your friends. and I will see you guys in the next review, but Lord knows when that's going to be.